Good morning. I got up to write my pages and watch the sun come up, and running a few errands while I'm out and about in the wonderful, beautiful town of Estes Park, where I have found my new home, my new soul. Thought for the day, things I've been reading. Don't offer someone a taste of their own medicine. Don't think in terms of revenge or vengeance. That's the way. That's not something an artist should be embracing. Instead, as an alternative, give them a taste of your medicine. They're not used to that. If they come at you with lies, offer them honesty. If they come at you with hatred, offer them love. Took some notes, jotted some down. If they play with your emotions, let your medicine be your own maturity. Don't be afraid to be yourself, even if it means removing yourself from their lives. That's a very strong medicine, a very strong indicator that might actually get their attention in a positive way. You are worthy of being valued for who you are, so be exactly who you are. Don't stoop to someone else's level that is coming at you with negativity. Respond with positivity, even if that positivity means that you have to walk away for the value of your own soul. You cannot force someone to learn. They have to want to learn on their own merits. Here's a story that's been on my mind I wanted to share with you. It's about my dad. My father and I could not have been more polar opposite than we were. I found the stage at age 6, and I never really left it. I have a passion and a love for being the person facing the other direction in a room. Not out and among the crowd. I'm very introverted as far as that goes. But give me a stage. Give me a character. Give me a story to tell. And I will stand in front of tens of thousands of people with no nervousness, with no anxiety, and share my story. It's part of the gift I was given. My father was an engineer, electrical engineer, very straight line thinker. He built almost every house that he ever lived in. He built with his own hands. He had that kind of mind. He was really seriously one of the most brilliant people I've ever met in my life. But he had trouble with art and with emotion. He didn't read an awful lot unless it was text, unless it was learning more about how to be a straight line thinker. Math and physics really fascinated him, and he had a real passion for those things. And that the arguments that we had were often very, very heated because of our point of view and the way that we lived our lives. He was taken early because of pancreatic cancer. He was in his early 60s when he moved from this world to the next one. I have spent many, many years wishing that I had his guidance still, that I could listen a little more closely than I had before. But we saw the world in different ways. There was a time when he walked away from me. I was already grown. He had already raised me well. I was in my 20s. But my life disagreed with his point of view so much that he put a distance between us. I missed the arguments. I missed the back and forth exchange of things. And we did reconcile. After the kids started coming along, he came back around and we had long talks about parenthood and responsibilities and all those things. When my father died, and here's the interesting point, I was standing in the wake line at his funeral, people coming by, friends and family, offering condolences and telling me what a wonderful and amazing guy my father was. I didn't need anybody to tell me that. Even though we disagreed, I recognized what a great man he was. But more and more people from his work started coming by and saying things like, "Hey, you're Bobby's kid, ain't you? You're the musician, right? You do the magic shows. Man, I got to tell you, your daddy, he couldn't have been more proud of you. You're all he ever talked about. He talked about where you were performing. He talked about some of the things that he saw you do. He talked about the shows that he went to. I never knew. There were some shows, apparently, that my father came to that I was performing, snuck in so that I wouldn't see him being there, but watched my shows. And boy, he was just proud of you. He talked about you all the time. He'd bring in newspaper clippings and magazine articles. Man, I wish my daddy had been as proud of me as your daddy was of you. And in my grief, I walked out of that wake. I left the line, left my wife and kids standing there at the time, and I went to check to see whose name was on the door. I was certain they were talking about someone else. And then I came back and resumed my responsibilities. But I was stunned by that because he never shared those words with me. He never told me how proud he was of me as an artist, as a performer. And that stuck really hard. But then I can also turn that back around on myself and say, I don't know that I ever told him how proud I was to be his son. And the beauty of the lessons that he taught me about life. He had his medicine and I had mine. A few weeks later, cleaning out his home, helping my stepmother clear his things out, taking his clothes to charity, giving some of his more valuable items to people that he had left them to, I found a box in the back of his closet. Just a cardboard box, nothing written on it. And inside of that box, there were trophies. There were 4 trophies for ballroom dancing. My father, in his 50s, discovered that he loved to dance. And he took lessons, and he entered contests, and he won awards, regional, national, important awards in the arena of ballroom dancing. And he took those trophies, and he cleaned them up, and he wrapped them up, and he stuck them in the back of his closet so that no one would question him about them. Now, his college football trophies, his Army football trophies, his golfing trophies, all up on his mantle above the fireplace, all kept polished and shined and in full view so people could see that. But his art, the passion that he discovered later in life, the beauty that he gave to other people, somehow that was embarrassing to him. And so he hid those awards away. I will never understand my father. I will never understand his point of view. But that's okay. He was the man I tried to be. He's the man I still try to be in a lot of other aspects and areas of my life. And when I step on stage, I know that he's watching. And I know now that he's proud of me. And that's how I give him a taste of my medicine.